right, you guys, here we go. And so I want to work with pulsing. And pulsing is something that Robert laid onto Ben's concept of separate yin and yang. And so Ben talks about being really exquisite on separating the yin and yang, which means just controlling how much weight you have in your legs, okay? How much weight you're carrying in either of the legs. That's maybe the coarsest way of understanding it. But when you're, for instance, when everything is in one place and then we start to open, this opening, here I have my famous ball, this opening should be system-wide, spherically, at every joint of your body simultaneously. That is the goal. And it requires a steadiness in the ankles to manage this by stepping, when you're stepping back and forth. We're going to start this in fixed step, and then we're going to move to a stepping practice where we're letting the energy flow out of the weighted ankle until the new foot arrives at its location, and then gathering back in. Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. I'm getting a little feedback. And great. So we will start. Felix, I'm going to spotlight you first, I think. And I want to start with the second Qigong. Oh, shoot. Okay, there we go. So, and Allie, if you could do a side view, I'm going to look at you occasionally. Allie, can you hear me? Great. Okay, great. So let's start with, just go into a kind of an open neutral posture, Felix. Great. And so we're going to start by just following in. And so I want you to bend and gather. Sync, go ahead, follow Felix. Felix? Hello? Felix, go ahead and bend and gather. Uh-oh, looks like I might be frozen. Okay. I think I'm frozen. I think it was me that wasn't seeing you. Okay. And just start in neutral, I'm sorry, start again in neutral, please, right? And start by following in. So from this point, look at gathering all your joints together. That's good. And then open slowly and continuously. Continuous, okay. Great. I'm going to check on everybody. So a couple things to note. The arms are continuously rotating, okay? So here they're rotating slowly to the inside, they're wrapping in, and right from the beginning, they start wrapping out. Right at the bottom of yin, they start immediately wrapping out again. So see if you can keep this quality. And Felix, do one hand, please. Just do one hand. So notice her hand is long. Imagine she had a piece of chalk or a pencil in it. So she's going to just be drawing this huge circle based on her left channel. It looks to us that it's on her right side. But see about making this thing continuous and drawing a big circle. So her elbows, so there's motion through the elbow, but it's not moving a lot forward and back vis-a-vis the front of her body. So as you come down, I want your spine to be bowing, okay? So your body should be lengthening. As you come down, feel your body flex. More flexion. I want to see more flexion out of everybody. Really exaggerate it. Draw in. Draw in. More flexion in the spine, in the legs, in the quad. Yeah, go ahead and bring your hands back together. Use both hands. Draw in. Really, all the legs, torso, everything's stretching out. The rib cage is opening. Gather in. So don't lead from your arms or your hands, but let everything go together. Feel the opening in the legs, up through the pelvis, into the rib cage, the neck, everything opening simultaneously, then gathering down again. Notice where you're a little jerky or where your legs stop. If your legs stop, you are opening too much, too fast. So get everything to continue. Put some attention in your legs so that they're stretching, stretching, stretching. They don't ever reach max stretch where there's no stretch left. There's still got to be some resiliency, some bounce, some open. Very nimble, light. Feel the legs open, continuous, continuous. Gather in. Imagine from the middle finger, there's a rotation that goes all the way into the shoulder. Actually, it goes all the way into the core of your body. But the whole arm is rotating through the middle finger. And so use the middle finger down to the elbow, into the shoulder nest, and it's going to rotate continuously in and then rotate continuously out. Don't lead with it. Let it be right on time with what's happening in the quad and in the shoulder, in the legs. We call this too bending. The spine is bowing gently. I'm going to put Allie on for a moment so you can take a look at her from the side. The spine bows gently, and then it straightens. So look for continuous motion along the spine, bending. Imagine somebody's pushing in on your sternum slightly to help bow the spine behind. Imagine you have a little angel friend pushing in on your sternum from the front as you bow, and then open. And as you open, do not hyperextend in the lumbar. When you come up to the top, stop at the top when you get to the top, Allie. Please. Stop up here. So what's happening? Stop at the top. So imagine you're inside of a sphere. You're inside of a sphere. You're pushing out at the edges of the sphere with your hands. Your head top is pushing out at the sphere. From the sides of your body, you're pushing out to the sphere. Your back is pushing out to the sphere. And your feet bottoms are connected to the sphere as well. And so if you look at the center of Allie's body, her dantian is the center of this action. Now imagine flipping the switch, and the dantian becomes vacuum. have a unstable internet, they're telling me. Keep going if you can. Hopefully my internet will stay with it. Go to the next one, Allie. Thank you for doing that. That's a long time on that one. Open. Now turn the hands over, pull down. It's not only pulling down, she's pulling up from earth. Now she's pushing out to earth and heaven simultaneously. Now she's pulling heaven and earth into her center, into Dantian. Feel that pulling up the legs. Push down, push down. Pull in. So this one we call center to periphery. This is also the paradigm for storing power, storing your opponent's power and discharging it. This is bend bow, shoot arrow. I'm going to go back to Felix and give a frontal view. Her elbows will be very important to see on this one. So she comes down, she keeps her elbows and her wrists parallel, and she gets a nice stretch, not only down the front, but the back as well. Opening, opening slowly. Same kind of condition happens here. Everything opens continuously. So if part of your body stops, no good. So try to gauge your body, open, open, open your chest. The torso is lengthening up to here, then everything is gathering in. This is the yin phase. Kind of condensing. We call this her condensing. And this is the yang phase, separating, the opening. Make this exquisite. This is, honestly, this is the prime benefit. This is the way your organs get massaged gently, the way toxins get released through the lymph system. And it's really tremendously beneficial to the body just to do this pumping, this gentle pulsing and pumping. You do not have to connect to the breath with this. You can, but ultimately the breath it's a training mechanism, but it's not appropriate for martial applications. And I'll tell you about that later. But you can see this, if you want, as an exhalation, gathering everything in. In this extension as an inhalation. And yesterday I was listening to Terry Gross, this breath management meditation guy who was writing a book, and it was really interesting. And he was talking about 5 to 6 seconds in, 5 to 6 seconds out, balancing this quality. Ultimately, you can make a longer in-breath versus a longer out-breath for various reasons and uses as a training, but try to balance right now. Try to balance this effect. And on this next one, Felix, just let your hands settle briefly down in front of the body and stand in Wu Chi for a moment. Just let everybody just stand there. Try not to wiggle around too much. Just stand there. Let your body, if your body's uncomfortable, let it be. Just let it open the way it needs to. Now, Felix, let your hand Lao Gong shine at each other. Bring them up to about the level of the Dantian and connect the fingertip to the Dantian. Away from the body a little bit. Good. Okay. And then put a little flexion in your knees. Okay, we're going to call this her, where everything's gathered in. And then we're going to open and stretch out and do kai, lengthening the body. Then her, draw in, flex, bend, open and straighten. I want you to associate again with maybe that 5 to 6 second breath cycle if you can. So this is exhale for now. Inhale. I'm going to come over to Allie. So notice how Allie's elbows are just right at the level of her kidneys, and the hands, the forearm is opening kind of like a gate. So right in front of the body. This extension, this extending out, this is Kai. And then she's condensing again. She's making the energy small. All the joints of her body are gathering. Here, everything's opening up. Feel all the way even into your neck. So keep going. So draw in, draw in. This is yin, her, and Kai, open. Try to do this completely symmetrical, completely. So if you feel like your upper body is leading, slow it down so that the legs can catch up. So the lengthening you have in the leg tissue has to be equaled by how much lengthening you have in your neck or in your rib cage. So the body is opening just like that spherical ball that I play with, that we have. And look into your body. See the parts of your body that are moving more slowly, that aren't on time with each other. Let the body open and gather naturally. And this, you just ride this. After a while, if you just feel the rising and the extension and the sinking and gathering, try to ride that stream. Try to let your mind just settle on that stream and open your body right on time with it. I want to focus on a few areas. First, I want you to feel the legs. Just feel the legs and how they're continuously in motion. If you feel streaming through the legs, this is good. Deanne mentioned the other day this pouring energy. Yes, so this is this kind of lengthening energy in the legs. And I want you to look at the 4 points where the legs enter the body and the shoulders enter the body. Get these 4 points to pump together. And for a while, just concentrate on the qua, where the legs enter the torso. Put your mind down in the qua. You're gathering like a gentle fist, and you're opening the fist. And she can use her hands to just gently close the hands, even like a fist, like the joints are doing. And then opening again. Excellent, Allie. Good. And the hands become a sign of what's happening in every single joint of your body. Gently opening, smoothly, continuously, right on time. Now I want you to feel into the rib cage. This is a good place to feel. And feel this same kind of gathering right along the rib cage. There's so many parts of the rib cage that you can feel this, where the bones connect to the breastbone, the sternum. Feel that opening right through there. All the places where the ribs connect to the sternum, these are contact openings. Feel that opening at the sternum. And then feel the gathering in. Really super good to isolate and feel for these parts of the body, make them more lively. Same thing on the spine where the ribs are entering the spine. Feel that lengthening on the spine as the body opens. And then that gentle gathering. Excellent, Allie. Let's do a couple more and then we're going to stop for a moment. And let's just come down here and stop right about here. That's good. Just stop. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Bring them up, Allie, a little bit higher. Yeah, right about there. Yeah. And I just want you to feel the energy between the lao gongs. Really shine the lao gongs at each other. Great, great. Feel the energy between the hands now. Yeah, and she's actually going to manipulate it a little bit. Just feel that in front of the body. Just let your breath hang out here for a second. So as you inhale, feel this. You're not moving at all at this point. You're still, but there's motion in stillness. That pumping action you were doing, I want you to feel the whole body opening with the breath, the inhalation. Even though she's holding her structure very quiet, there's still motion inside the stillness. Try to just keep the outward manifestation quiet and let the motion happen in the stillness. Feel the breath still doing its work. Feel that. Feel the energy between your hands. And over the next few breath cycles, especially on the exhalation, I want you to slowly sink that energy ball inside your body. So just slowly let it come inside the body. Let it come inside the body like a sun setting behind a mountain or below the horizon of the water. Just slowly bring it in. Bring it in a little bit more. The hands come toward the belly. Sink it down and in. Take the energy or practice inside. Just bring it all the way in till your hands are finally resting on the dantian, resting on your belly. Now just holding this posture, the stillness in this posture, feel that ball of energy. Feel that sphere inside your belly. Cover Lao Gong. She's got her palm of her hand right on her belly. Feel the pulsing deep inside. Let your mind rest deep inside. On every subsequent exhalation, let it sink deeper inside Dantian. Don't force anything, just be natural. And I want you to just release your mind from practice and just sit in openness. Just stand there in openness for a moment without doing anything, without having to do a thing. Try to be quiet, clear. The mind that has an agenda, be quiet. One of the images is of a glass of muddy water, and just not moving that glass, the mud will gently settle and the water will clear. Identify with the clarity of the water. Okay, thank you so much, Allie and Felix. That was excellent. And we'll just take a moment and great. Any questions or comments on that practice?
I do.
And is that,
I do. Susan,
hi, Susan. Okay, great.
so you didn't mention in the rocking back and forth from the bubbling well to the heel. Was that done in sort of a very internal way?
Yeah, you know, that quality in the pelvis is happening in those practices. This one, I really wanted people to focus on the joints of their body and that swinging like quality of the pelvis. That's, excuse me, that's happening simultaneously. That's correct. But the practice is a way to, these are really get to know yourself practices, and really to investigate, well, what do my legs feel like, and what does my rib cage feel like, and to get them working. I always think of the idea of a beautiful glove, a really well-made glove. Here, I'm gonna go back to myself for a second, and how how it fits perfectly. And so the mind is working right with the body like a beautiful piece of clothing or something like a glove. So it says the mind moves the chi and the chi moves the body. Okay, this is from the classics. And we study kind of from the other direction. We get the body, where we start by feeling into our body and then letting our mind be very connected to the body. And so when you get to the stillness point, what you have is the mind functioning throughout the body and still feeling for motion. And because it started from the other side, it started in the body. Eventually you get to the mind, but the mind wants to be right there. Wherever you put your mind, the chi is sure to follow. And this is really important for healing ourselves, injuries, maintaining health throughout our body, throughout the torso, and so this is a fantastically rich practice to just get this thing going. And so this is a fixed stepped way of doing it. So are there any other questions on that? Allie, are you talking to me? I can't unmute Allie. Okay. Were you saying something, Allie?
No.
Oh, okay. I was hallucinating. All right. Well, so this is just going to suggest this is those three exercises together. So the first two are from the spinal qigong. That last one, the Kai He, is from Ming Tong Gu, and this idea of swallowing the golden pill of your practice into Dantian, that is a very, it's a common thread throughout much Chinese medicine, Taoist philosophy, things like that. So just letting your mind sink to the Dantian, that is the admonition, putting your mind and breath together in the Dantian. Breath is one of the translations and meanings of qi. Another one is energy. Energetic breath is probably a good way to think of qi. But qi doesn't exactly require physical breathing to be present. It really doesn't. But anyway, when we do these practices, we can use the breath, the physical breath, to engage the mind and pull it where we want it. And we want the mind in the Dantian. Okay, the one last thing I wanted to do just for a few minutes was movement. and movement with the second qigong in particular. And I think some of you saw me doing this before. I'll demonstrate it once, and then I'm going to show both Felix and Ali doing this together. Um, but I guess I am on spotlight already. So I'm going to take these off for a second. So this one. So first I'll show you kind of these walking meditations. Robert had us do this a lot. I mean, this is a big part of our form, of just our practice. And we would just walk in a huge circle typically. But for some reason, if you know, you are incarcerated and don't have a lot of room, we call this jailhouse. So I want you to see both. And this opening and closing matters to kind of see how that happens also in the form. The speed at which you open and close is really dependent upon your opponent, not your breath. But we're going to practice getting our body to open and close really together. And this is again like the Karate Kid, where Master Miyagi had the kid waxing his car, and the kid's like, 10 hours of waxing? Are you kidding me? This kind of buildup of the intelligence in the body to make it by heart. So you practice to learn something by heart, by just instinct, that it just happens automatically. That's kind of one of the reasons to practice. And so doing this kind of somewhat awkward walking is intended to lead to kind of intuitive opening and closing when you're encountering a practice partner or an opponent, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so the second qigong is going to be the idea. You can also look at her kai and her condensing and then splitting something apart. Her, spelled H-E and pronounced like H-E-R, is condensing, letting things gather. There's no bottom to gathering, okay? So gathering and then separating things. Kai, K-A-I, K-A-I, is this separating, this stretching apart, this opening, this yang energy. So the way this looks when you do this, so I'm just going to walk just without any hands really, and show you what walking might look like. So I'm going to start in one foot, and I'm going to slowly open my body so that my foot arrives when the body completes its opening. Then I'm going to sink into this foot. You notice my spine bending slightly until all the weight's there, noted by the other foot is empty. And then opening again. So this is yang, and this is yin. Yang, yin. Kai, her. And so it's not only stretching out my leg, but all the joints, just like you were doing in the second qigong. All the joints are opening up. So one of the important things is feel out of the weighted ankle, this continuous streaming. So I just don't throw the foot out, I just don't place my foot out there, but the foot arrives through the pressurization of the spherical phenomena of my body opening. So the foot arrives here, and then everything, if you watch my hands, everything gathers in. Then it opens again. So these are single weighted practices. And, I watched people do this for years. People would go here and then they'd open like that, and sink. They'd have weight back there. And then they'd rip this foot forward. So the travel of the foot should be right on time with your breath cycle. Okay. So this opening, the whole body is on the breath side. You can use the breath to do this. You don't need to, but the breath is really useful in this. Opening and then gathering, opening. It looks easy, and it sadly is not. But let's just do this together a little bit, and I'm going to have Allie and Felix lead this. And so Felix, would you face, and I think Felix, I'm going to have you do second Qigong, just standing, okay? And Allie, if you could go, and Allie, if you want, you can just walk in a circle for a while. I mean, if you can find a little circle, you don't need to do back and forth like we were talking about before. So if you can manage a little circle. Yeah, so Felix is going to do the second Qigong, and we're going to start by, let's start in an open posture. Yeah, so an open pot, and so Allie, you might have your foot out in an open posture, and feel extension, feel through your whole body, feel open, your foot is out. So this is, let's say this is the yang phase, okay? And then sink and gather into that foot, and sink and gather till all the weight's in that foot. That's the completion there, and then open again. And just walk. I'm going to check everybody out for a while. Just walk around a little bit. Allie and Felix are going to do this. I'm sorry, I forgot to spotlight. Here we go. There's Allie walking, and I'll show you Felix is just doing the second Qigong. So sink and gather all the weight. When that completes, open, nice and slow, right on time. So and Felix, why don't you do the Kai Her, okay? If you don't mind. So instead of doing the big second Qigong hands, everybody, Allie's going to do Kai Her hands too. So here she's doing her, sinking all the weights there, then opening. So really try to make it work right on time. So stretch your body. The Kai is when the foot goes out, and then Her is when you pour the weight into the new foot. Just do this a little bit. I'm just checking in on everybody. So you really have to control your weight. That looks good. Looks good, Randall. Yeah, really controlling your weight. Opening, good. And this is exquisite. So just check in with yourself. These are all integrity practices. You are the one that knows if your arms are moving faster than your legs, or if your torso has stopped opening up, or if you're double weighted at the end. So Yang completes with the leg extended. Yin completes by sinking all the weight into that foot. Yang completes by extending slowly. And so getting this, really feeling for this cat walking. You have to be creative. If you have a funny space, you have to kind of work it out. How can you do shifting yin and yang in a crazy little space? Feel for your body what is required. This is how you become learn by heart with this stuff. It looks good, Rick. Play with it. Play with it. Don't lead from your upper body. Try to lead from your most immobile part, if you can manage that. So that the arms, so I would say the arms and the hands are the most mobile. See if they can ride on the opening of the pelvis and the torso. So don't try to lead too much and go slow. Go as slow as you possibly can. And don't stretch your arms further than your torso extending allows. That looks good, Susan. Keep going, everybody. Just try. I see Anne in the window, but I don't see Anne. Okay. That's cute. Yeah. All right. That's good. You're looking good. All right. Just a couple more minutes. So just feel this pumping. Just keep pumping. See how long you can keep pumping. And we're going to come to a stop in a minute. Do not agitate your mind and shake it off and start thinking about what's for lunch. I want you to just stay in the practice and notice how the motion settles into the stillness. Whenever you're ready to kind of go to a neutral place with both feet holding some weight, just and try not to wiggle around too much. Try to do this right out of the practice mode. And just sink into that space. Feel the pulsing, feel the pumping and pulsing that you were just doing for 5-10 minutes. Let your mind ride on that yin and yang. Let your mind still feel Kai and her. You actually have a physical breath that is still opening and closing your body, gathering your body. And just become still. Just rest. The Kai and her will become kind of a background for the central stillness. And then I want you to just release your mind from all practice and just rest in clarity. Then slowly bring your mind back out and we will convene one more time before we depart. Okay. Any questions, comments? Anybody? You're pretty quiet. I'm happy that nobody has anything to say. Um, all right. Well, that I got to tell you, we would do hours of that with Robert, especially on retreat. We would just walk around, and it was great. And this learning by heart, just letting it become second nature in your body, so that you don't have to think about it. So it's intuitive, it's responsive, just immediately. It's natural. So this is where Tai Chi starts sinking into the mundane quality of your life. Things like Tai Chi, anything you practice deeply like this will kind of take on a mundane quality. And if that's kind of an oxymoron, the mundane quality, it's actually a very beautiful and present quality. It's not mundane in the least. It's very sacred, actually. That's that old Dogen quote. He said, "In the mundane, nothing is sacred, but in the sacred, nothing is mundane." And I think that is what is intended with practicing to learn by heart, practicing to let this just lead your life somehow, this presence. So, thank you, everybody. I think that's it for today, unless you want to start talking politics or something, I guess.
Hell
No,
no.
Jamala. Please, no.
That was a bad joke. I know. It was a bad joke.
Brought us back.
Right. What a letdown. Oh,
I got
God.
to think about lunch.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go.
It's a wonderful practice. This that we just did. I just loved it.
Yeah, yeah. That walking meditation is really good. It's super good for your form too, separating weight. Really, and I mean, we practice in this slow motion kind of way. So, but what it liberates is any speed required, and your opponent gives you the speed. When you're so tuned in, you're and I could just show this to you when we do some push hands together, but you don't have to open in front of anybody. You just open right on time, and just by listening to what's happening. So these are all good qualities that Taoism is interested in. Other practice, I mean, I think other traditions are interested in these things as well. I think Buddhism has a lot of this, and mystical Christianity as well. But Sufism. Anyway, you guys, I think that's it.